So let me do a quick intro like I always do. I can see a couple of new people in here, so I'll go through you guys. But basically, I'm Vic. I'm one of the co-founders of the AI Profit Boardroom. Alongside Julian, we decided to start a community where we can exchange a lot of knowledge. We can try to teach and educate people as much as possible and kind of give them a head start when it comes to AI, AI automation, AI tools, AI agents, you name it. A lot of the time we spend testing these tools and seeing how we can use them in very applicable ways in our business, but also for other businesses which are outside of, for example, a marketing agency niche, etc. In this community with us, we do have a couple of lovely coaches. One of the longest standing members here with me is actually Dr. Jeff. I've had the pleasure of meeting him, I think 3 months ago, maybe 4. Yeah. And ever since we've kind of like really clicked. So we have really enjoyed, trying to teach the community on everything. Usually I host the Wednesday sessions. Recently, I've started doing a little bit of the Monday ones just because I want to be as involved as possible as the co-founder of the group. But today, Jeff and I kind of synced and we were like, hey, both of us are free. Why don't we do a session together, to see what the community thinks, what the feedback is. Hello there. And yeah, the way usually my calls go is I kind of go through each member that is new within the call. I kind of ask you guys to introduce yourself and tell me what you're working on and what are some of the struggles and how can I help you quickly today on this call. I can see a lot of familiar faces. So Victor, Arnett, Georgetta, Sarita, Aaron, you might be one of the old Aarons, you might be a new Aaron. I don't actually know, but what I like to do is go one by one, talk to you guys and see what you guys are working. Jeff, do you want to do any little intro on your side? And then I can get started with asking some of our people here to introduce themselves.
Yeah, so I'm Dr. Jeff. I have a PhD in neuroscience. I did my master's and my PhD on AI and computer vision, optic flow estimation. Then after that, I went into marketing and sales because nobody really cared about AI back when I graduated. But then recently I've been doing more in AI, started with machine learning and computer vision. And then lately it's a lot of Gen AI, RAG LLM systems, graph RAG systems, agentic systems, image and video generation. And I just love talking about AI. If you've been on some of my calls to see how much I talk and how energetic I get about it. So if you have any questions, just let me know and I'll try to answer them for you.
Jeff, I love it. I think both of us are very big nerds when it comes to AI. Of course, I have a very different background than yours, which I think is it's very hard to follow your suit of, hey, I have a PhD, but I love how enthusiastic you are about it. And I think both of us today maybe are going to be able to give the community the most value because we're going to have maybe even conflicting views at certain points, but at least a lot of knowledge for them, which I think will be amazing. So without any specific order, I'm just going to go as I see you guys on my screen. The first person I can actually see, and Victor, I'll get to your question. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about Seed Dream. So I'll get to you. But the first person I can see is actually Johannes Foppel. I hope I didn't mispronounce that. Welcome, Johannes. How you doing?
Hi, thanks. Yeah, Johannes Faupel is in German pronunciation, but it's totally okay. I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Johannes, I'll try to do it. Johannes, welcome. I think this is the first time you're here. Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit about what you're doing with AI? How are you using AI and AI automation? And if there's any way for us to help you today, what would that be? Like a quick question or whatever it may be.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm an executive coach located in Frankfurt in Germany, and I'm working together with C-level executives, not only in Frankfurt, only in whole Germany. And now I'm using already since I think 1.5 years AI for complex tasks in the coaching business, and so also even live at the client side to show them, to help them look behind their first layers in terms of recognition, in terms of whatever they are dealing with. And so this is a good thing to help people step out of their own bubble and their own limitations. So this, in general, I can say about this. I generated also some custom GPTs, which have very much, and I think we have a good times ahead. We are already inside of them, and so I just joined today to see what is happening here, what's going around, what you are talking about. Yeah.
That's awesome, Johannes. But then you're in a great position because maybe some things are going to get mentioned that you're going to be curious about, or you might want to add to it, give some knowledge, or even ask a question. I really like that you are thinking maybe I'm going to use a phrase that may be a little bit blown out of proportion, but you're kind of AI first when it comes to you helping these clients as a coach, right? So that's amazing to see. I really like that. have you tried explaining to them? You said you use something like a custom GPT, and I think that's a very good barrier to entry. That's a very healthy place to start. Are you trying to pitch this to these executives and C-level people and go like, I think this is something that can really revolutionize even mundane tasks, such as I don't need to think about a new draft of an email. I can just use AI. Is this maybe something you're doing?
Yeah, this is like all the time in world's history and development. The first things come from the US and then go through UK to the Europe. And so in Germany, many people really do hesitate still. And they prompt just flat one task in ChatGPT, maybe in the free one, and they say, this is flat, there's nothing inside. And so I think the best way is to do this in a one-to-one session and then make iterations live with them because this can be also a process, a part of my consultation qualification. I don't know what we will do today, but so I can combine my own coaching work together with some, let's see what we could collect if we connect this to another entity.
I love that, Johannes. I love it. I think from my point of view, you have the best mindset possible for what you're doing right now, and really looking forward to seeing some of your use cases or questions come up or whatever. Excited to have you here. And thank you for that.
Thank you. One thing I would like to add still, if possible,
Please.
Most people think, and that's most AI is good for getting answers, and that's wrong. AI is good for getting questions, new questions to us, because everybody is already in his conception bubble. I think I know, but knowledge makes you dumb and silly because you don't search anymore. And that's why I'm a big believer in that. This will do a lot of disturbance in the markets, this AI business. But people who do not see this as an enemy, but as disruptive, very fast development, to think more and to ask more and to find new. Last thing, founded permanentbrainresearch.com. And this is exactly that, the thing. I'm working all the time on live brain research. So finish. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, Johannes, that's amazing. One little caveat I want to add there is one of my favorite things to ask AI, especially if I'm trying to build something like an idea or whatever it may be, or a business idea, or I'm working for a client. One of the first things I want to ask is, in how many ways can this fail? Can you identify all of them for me? And I actually want to figure out every avenue of failure. And after I finish iterating on all of those, I again ask it. There's always going to be ways to fail, right? You just need to understand which of them are realistic and which aren't. But I love it. I love it, Johannes. You're kind of pushing the boundary of don't just go there for the solution, but instead keep asking questions. I really like that. Thank you for sharing that. Again, thank you so much. We have a lot of people here. I love this. This is exciting. Let's go to the next person I can see on my screen. And by the way, guys, unfortunately, it does go camera priority. So the second person I can see is Dave Alton. Dave, I think you're the first time here. Very nice to meet you. I think you missed the intro part, but that's okay. Basically, I'm just going to ask you, can you give us a little bit of introduction about yourself and how you're using AI and AI automation in your business? And maybe if there's any way we can help you today.
Yeah, so I'm Dave Alton. I help to run a managed service provider organization here in Southern California. And we are seeing AI needed at the small business level more than anywhere else. Honestly, they don't have bandwidth. They don't have the correct process and procedures in place. And we feel like we're kind of poised to be able to go in, understand what the workflows are, understand where automation will make a difference, deliver them safe LLMs to use, and really kind of be their partner in making sure that they're using it responsibly, correctly within their compliance structures that they need to. And I think where I'm really needing the help is that I don't want to hire coders. I don't want to hire anybody. I kind of want to do this internal, retrain some staff from just doing, tech work to using AI to kind of develop what we need and really find workflows where it makes such a massive difference, right? Like we've examined a few workflows where we go, well, yeah, we could probably do that with AI. A third or an eighth of whatever you're doing it for and deliver a really good result and get you back to doing the things that you should be doing, as a business owner, as a, as kind of the higher level person in the organization and kind of surfacing those results using those tools that are out there. The place that I'm struggling, honestly, the reason why I joined is really struggling with how do I correctly vibe code a solution that is going to work Like like I'm almost a month in on a content creation pipeline that's for internal. So it's basically, it takes a YouTube webinar that we've already recorded and then reprocesses that, puts it as a blog post, and then cuts up shorts for us.
Okay.
Felt like it was going to be easy. And, I'm like, I'm using Code LLM. I've got VS Code with Codex on there. I've tried Cloud Code and, they all get like in the ballpark, but they all still kind of suck. And it's been such a struggle for me. I mean, over the weekend, I hit my cap on my Codex. And so now I'm just stuck because I can't do anything. And then I've been trying Abacus AI because they've got all the different kind of models. I've spent, I don't know, probably $300 in stupid tokens at this point. And the damn AI is dumb. It's like, I tell it like, this is what I want. And this is how I want it. I've been managing coding projects my whole entire career. I'm like, this is what I want. And this is how I want it done. And it's like 3,000 tokens and here it is. And then you're like, dude, didn't even do 5 things I told you. Like, give me my tokens back. I want my tokens back. Like, I'm not paying for this. And there's no way to do that. So I'm definitely at a little bit of a frustration point. So I felt like I needed a community to kind of, work with and get to understand some more of it better. And thus why I'm here. Hopefully that wasn't too long of an intro.
No, that was great. That was actually very insightful. I'm going to let Jeff kind of speak to a part because I know he's a very big vibe coding enthusiast. And I know he's even done a session on this. I'm just going to say a little part before it. I think one of the things that I really notice with a lot of people is they do want a kind of like one-shot project done. I'm not saying that's you. I'm just saying a lot of people kind of want that. And that's almost literally impossible. One of the things that I really love doing specifically when it comes to clients that come to us that want us to do AI automation is I really segment the things, right? So I think from hearing your use case, that's actually very doable in N8N with 2 to 3 workflows. But I can speak on this a little bit later because I think you might be looking just for a software developed kind of solution because you said you're vibe coding it, right? So I'm going to let Jeff kind of go into that segment a little. But from my point of view, I think what I would do if I were you, Dave, is you start with the podcast, you get the transcript. From the transcript, you create the blog. From the blog, you create other social media, which are text-based, such as X, such as a Facebook post or whatever. And with the initial thing, which is, let's say, the audio portion of the podcast, from that, you create the shorts. Or if it's a video-based one, then even easier, right? You can just cut them up. But I'm going to let kind of Jeff continue here. This is my kind of like stance. I think if I can notice that I'm building frustration because I want that one-shot thing and it's not working for me, I would segment it. I would just go a little bit point by point, and that's how I would tackle it with N8N or a different automation platform if you prefer. But
and I actually haven't tackled the automation side of this. I've really just been like, it's all local. So I've been building the whole thing out local to just like, hey, will this even work? And I'm very modular, right? Like, hey, take this, build me an outline, and then cool. Now build me the blog post. Now build me the shorts and segments and all. So I get that. Totally makes sense.
Jeff, what about your thoughts on vibe coding this?
Well, I agree with both of you on that. The idea is that you do need to break things up into pieces. And, I think that vibe coding gives everyone this superpower now, right? Now you can code everything and you want to go out there and it's like, here, let's go. And the LLMs or whatever you're using, Claude or Cursor or whoever, they're going to just dive right in with you. They're like, yeah, let's just do the whole thing. But always, as Vic was saying, even if you're doing an automation, break it up into pieces. You want to test individual pieces. And then also based on what you were saying before, how is this going to go wrong? Challenge, like use possibly, even if you're using something within your IDE to do the coding, like use something like Claude or GPT to strategize it all out and figure out what the issues are. And some of this still is, it's not necessarily a coding thing, but a strategy, right? Like what is the right LLM? How do you implement that LLM? And if you take it piece by piece and you're challenging and pushing that strategy, you're making sure that it works, that should get you pretty far, but you do want to take it in chunks, right? But a lot of times it'll try to just run away and do everything for you. And even if you have to break it up, into smaller chunks, into subroutines or methods, but be careful of trying to bite off way too much at first and take it into pieces and then use the LLMs to challenge your strategy if you can.
Okay. Okay. One last note on that, Dave. Actually, I'm very happy to try and build the initial part of that for you in N8N, because I think what might help you is if you can visualize that in a different platform outside of vibe coding it, maybe you'll have a quicker path to success. If you can just get started with that first part, which is using that transcript to create a blog post, that is already going to take a lot off your plate. I'm assuming. I don't know the extent, but I'm just assuming. And that one shouldn't take too long for us to kind of like build an MVP of, right? You're still going to connect stuff, and I'm still going to need some details from you, whether this is a podcast or a video based on YouTube or wherever it's hosted. But how about this? Drop me a message on a DM on the school basic system. My name is Victorian there, so make sure you find me, or you can use my last name. My last name is the same. But just drop me a DM there, kind of like explaining how your use case is. And I think that if you try with something like N8N, it might be an easier path to a solution. It might not be your envisioned vibe coded solution, but it might be an easier path. Just my 2 cents. It's all up to you how you take it from there.
Okay. Thanks.
No worries, Dave. Pleasure to meet you. Really look forward to having you in these sessions, and maybe figuring out if we can finalize that so we can share a good win with the community. I'm going to go to Rich Cook. Rich, I do believe this is also your first time here. Welcome. Very nice to meet you. Give us the intro. Give us who Rich is.
All right. I run a small boutique publishing company and publish classic and out-of-print murder mystery stories back to the 1840s up to the 1920s, trying to reinvigorate these great old novels, the old mysteries and that kind of thing. So putting together, I've been using AI for quite a while, mostly dabbling and playing with ChatGPT and using that. I've explored and read a lot about using agents, but I haven't dived into actually creating any. So I'm kind of at that point where I need to do that to streamline my workflows, take these books and run them through the various process that I have to do, figure out how I can automate that, and kind of smooth out that process. So that's a labor intensive for me to do. So it's my first time here, so I don't have any specific questions. Just wanted to dive in and see what's going on.
I love that. So I actually, your specific use case of, I think you kind of said book writing, right? And I can really love that. I used to be a very big book nerd. I even have my book next to me here, which is a little bit of a different kind of genre, but it's inspiring me for some more business oriented stuff, but whatever. I do love reading. So I think that there are ways that we can definitely figure out how to use automation, especially if you want to use it around the research part. I would say it's really going to help you with that probably. Or if you're trying to create outlines, we have created an automation where you can do like a one-click book generator, but that is something that is, let's say if someone wants to sell books on Etsy or something like this, I don't like AI slot books. I need to be very honest. It's just something that people really requested.
Right.
So I would say, Rich, is maybe think of 1 to 3 ways that you think AI can really help you speed up the process or take mundane things off your plate, and drop me a message and I would very happily try to help. I think that's a very cool way to look at it.
That'd be great. I appreciate that.
Of course, Rich. Welcome, welcome. Very nice to meet you.
Thank you.
On my list, I have Michael Toback. How you doing, Michael? Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Okay. So I've been slowly working my way back to tech. I retired, I want to say 3 years ago. I was a software engineer and a cybersecurity engineer. One of the last things that my manager said to me is, have you looked at this thing called ChatGPT? It really does a lot of amazing stuff. And I had no idea what he was talking about. This was ChatGPT 3, maybe 3.035 days. So the company kind of reformulated itself, maybe around AI. I don't know.
Mhm.
And I started looking at it and I said, it just still seemed kind of weird. I mean, it didn't do much in those days. It was kind of clunky. And I didn't have I had software background, but I didn't have the deep background in machine learning and all that to figure out what the heck was going on. And then when 4 hit, it was like, oh my gosh, I see what's going on here. In the interim, I started blogging and I saw how you could really use this. And I started giving it pretty detailed prompts to say, okay, this is what I want to do. And I want you to give me these keywords and I want you to do the paragraphs. And then I discovered a couple of people online that helped me refine it even further. And then I discovered a cool tool called ZimWriter, which if people are familiar with that, it's sort of like a Swiss Army knife of blog posting. It doesn't do everything well. It doesn't do everything, but it's pretty good. So I started using that and using Neuron Writer where it didn't fit. And it's still, even though there's a lot of automation there, there's still a lot of manual stuff. Like I got really stuck on generating content for social media. ZimWriter says, don't worry about it. We'll scrape your posts. I said, no, that doesn't work. That just doesn't work. Taking images that I asked AI to create for posts and use them for Pinterest, it's a totally different audience.
Yes.
So I'm kind of struggling with my workflow now.
Okay.
And my site went down because I did something really dumb. A client found me. I was doing some SEO for them, some posts for them, but they insisted I do it on my site. And by accident, I just didn't know what I was doing. I just linked back to their, and Bing crashed my site. And I figured it out immediately. I redid all the posts as the links as sponsored. It just took Bing a few months to come back and say, yeah, you're clean now. We'll let you back in. In the interim, I went back and I kind of went through and said, I'm a software engineer. I really should be looking at agentic AI because there's a lot of really cool stuff. So I got on Coursera. I did a bunch of courses on Python to solve the problem. And it sort of echoes one of the questions you just asked. It's too darn complicated for what we're doing. NAN and make.com work fine. I figured that out. And maybe there are places in Python where you can generate tools that you can't find online. But for the actual workflow, this guy kind of made sense. You can create an agent in ChatGPT and call it in Python and then let the Python run it. No, I'm not sure about that. There may be use cases for it, but for what I'm doing, I don't think that's useful, or at least it's going to take me so long to do it. It's not worth it.
I get you.
So I've been following Julian for a while, his flip from pure SEO to AI. And I said, well, let me take a look at this, see if something inside it will help. I started on the initial course and I'm not stuck. I just need to take a step back because I go through a lot of the techie stuff really fast.
Okay.
And this has always been my life. I got my MBA years ago, or tried to. And I told the professors the same thing I'm going to tell you. You don't need to explain the tech stuff to me. I'm here for the soft stuff.
Okay.
I'm here for the marketing and stuff like that. And that's kind of where I am right now. So the next assignment is find a soft spot where you can use AI.
Yep.
And I sort of know in my head what it is, but I need to get it. What's the word? I need to codify it. I need to sit down and document it. Say, this is what I do.
Yeah.
And this is where I think the rough spots are. And then maybe go create something in Notebook LM, because I've done some really good stuff, but it's manual. So I was able to combine all my data from WordPress, Amazon affiliate, Google Search Console, Bing, Clarity, put them all into a pot, and then this is before things like LM, Notebook LM and projects, stuff like that, and said, okay, here's the information. Now I want you to create a detailed report. It'll tell me what I'm doing right. Tell me what I'm doing wrong.
I get you, Michael.
And it was great. And I did it in March and I kind of forgot how to do it because I've been doing too many other things. And so I'm coming back and saying, okay, now I need to write down everything that I should have been doing, create a procedure, create a checklist. Yeah. I don't know that AI is going to be able to help me here, but at the very least, it could help me generate a checklist. But go ahead.
No, Michael, I kind of like it. We like a Goldie agency, by the way, is full background, used to be SEO, like you said. So I love that you kind of started with that segment. I really love that you're kind of invested into that part. And I think there are a lot of ways that AI, I know for a fact that there are a lot of ways that AI can help you with the marketing aspect of things. If you started with a 6-week course, but you don't think that's super applicable for what you are after.
No, I'm not saying that. No, what I'm saying is the techie stuff I go through very fast. And there are some things I'll admit I don't know, and it's good. And what I learned with these things is don't listen to the presenter when he or she says, watch what I'm doing. and then come back and do it again. I do it while you're doing it. And if I can't do it, I stop. For instance, the demo that you do in the first thing where you say, here's N8N, and I'm going to do an HTTP. I spent a little bit of time doing it before I finished it, before I went on to the next thing and figured out how to do that.
Great.
And then I go on. And that's what I mean. I mean, it's not that I don't need the tech. It's that you say it's a 6-week. If it was all tech, I could probably get through it in about half the time. But then when you come up with things like this, okay, this is what AI can do for you, and your homework is, that's just taking me more time, and that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Well, look, in a way, I want to push or try to challenge you guys into the things that you might not be best at, because that is the only way you're going to evolve, right? And it's going to give you a different view of thinking. But anyways, Michael, you are already ahead of the curve if you're already familiar with a lot of the tech stuff. When it comes to specifically what you just said for a notebook LM or even different LLMs that you might forget how to use, one of the phrases that I really love, and I'm not going to say it in Latin, it's basically repetition is the mother of study. All you can do is just go out there, try it a couple of times, and you're going to figure it out and you're going to nail it. If you do get stuck for whatever reason, the community is always there. I'm always there for you guys, as well as, and help. So thank you for sharing all of that. Very happy to see you around and to hear from you some of the things that you might struggle with, and maybe we can figure out how we can help each other. And when it comes to having that marketing or business mindset, I think a lot of great software engineers are so good at creating these amazing solutions that tackle like 500 problems, but they just don't know how to create an MVP from it, or they don't know how to actually productize that, right? So we do try to teach that. I'll do my best to kind of guide you on that path as well, Michael.
Thank you.
No worries. Glad to meet you. Very nice to meet you. Thank you for joining us today. Next up on my list, I have Richard Jackson. Welcome, Richard. I do believe this is the first time I see you. You do look a little bit familiar, but maybe I'm just confused with someone else. But how you doing, Richard?
Pretty good, you say?
Doing good. Thank you for asking. First time here? Nice. Give us a little bit of intro if you're okay with it. By the way, if anyone is shy, you don't have to do it. I just want to meet my community members. So how you doing, Richard?
Pretty good, thanks. I'm from the Atlanta, Georgia area. I'm a real estate investor. Traditionally, I flip homes, but I have art background, and I was kind of want to be up on the next thing. I've had a little downtime, so I started looking at AI and seeing what it could do, and I just saw the big picture about how it's going to take over everything. If you don't know it, you're going to be left out in the next couple of years. I want to learn. I took some courses in Coursera on prompt engineering and was pretty amazed on what I learned. And I wanted to start a few businesses. That's an issue for me.
Okay.
I have too many ideas. And I know I need one at a time. So it's hard focusing with that, because one of the things that we've done in my family, my wife, my kids have written some books. So we need to probably make it easy. Maybe we're thinking about self-selling, maybe doing some advertising on YouTube or TikTok, like doing videos to kind of give them free messaging, but also kind of let users have a chance to see the books and things of that nature. So that's one piece that I know we want to do is the books. And then also I want to give back. I'm a Christian and I want to do the will of God first. So one of the things that come to me as well is putting out his content, like doing a gospel video.
Yeah.
And I started working on that. I've tried a few videos, and it's been very hard getting the way I want to, like the other gentleman talked about, far. You have the prompts and it doesn't give you the visuals that you want. I kind of learned that you really need to probably start with the pictures first and animate pictures for your video. I spent a lot of time on that, and it haven't really got it the way I wanted it. Putting out some videos and also like Bible education materials for kids, because I've been a big thing with kids in the past, and people always ask me, how do you keep so smart? How do they learn this and that? So that's another piece of the way I kind of want to share those things and be able to tie it back to self-marketing and creating a site. So those are a few items that I'm looking at.
I love it, Richard. I think it's a very good problem to have, because you started with this, so I'll lead with this. I think it's a very good problem to have when you have too many ideas, from the sense of a lot of people feel like they don't have any ideas, and everyone is so afraid to get started because everyone says, oh, this has already been done. But one thing I recently heard on a podcast, I forgot what the podcast's name was, but basically this person was talking about, like, a lot of people don't realize it's not always that you need to start with something that doesn't exist. In fact, start with something you're really passionate about, even if it exists, but make it the best out there, right? So I really subscribe to that notion of thinking like, it doesn't matter how many other ones exist. Of course, market might be saturated. You need to focus on making it the best possible ever. If that is for you, the client service, or if that is for you, the final product, whatever it may be, make sure it's good. So it's good to have that problem of having too many ideas. One thing I like to do when I have ideas that I'm not sure which one I should go for, I actually use AI to validate them. I am a very big lover of GenSpark. I talk about GenSpark a lot. I've shared a lot of these use cases. And recently with GenSpark, I actually built out 3 different sauce ideas. Basically, I had 10 and I asked it to validate based on a couple of metrics, which ones we think would be successful, or based on research, which one does it think would be successful. So it took a look at things like market saturation, need from people. It also took a look at discussions on Reddit and Quora and platforms like this, where I can understand, hey, is this going to be a market fit or not? And I came up with 3 of them. 2 of them I've actually already shown to the community within the 6-week AI automation masterclass. One of them is regarding churn. A lot of agencies face churn and they want to learn how to reduce churn. One of the biggest common problems is that a lot of the churn comes without us even knowing about it, right? So a lot of clients leave us and we don't even foresee it. So what I've built is kind of like a sauce that is based on an algorithm to predict churn. And I did this completely with GenSpark. I can even show you what the MVP dashboard looks like right now, if that's something you're interested in. But the reason I'm telling you this, Richard, is I would plug your ideas into something like GenSpark, or if you're using ChatGPT or whatever AI you prefer. I love GenSpark for this use case. And I would actually ask it to come up with pros and cons, or even a SWOT analysis, like strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats analysis, and go from there. Figure out which one is validated best, let's say, like you were saying, the very first one or the gospel one, whichever you prefer. And you go from that point, right? And then you start focusing on that. And just on the latter part where you mentioned about like videos, one thing a lot of people don't realize, and a lot of people get frustrated with AI because of this. I am one of those peoples. And it is Ed. I can do that on Wednesday for you guys. One of the things that I get really frustrated by is if you're not super precise with AI, with these LLMs, they mess up like this. I'm not sure who was it earlier that was saying regarding vibe coding. I think it was maybe Johannes that was kind of mentioning this vibe coding problem. This happens because even if you miss a single comma in your sentence, everything gets ruined. So I think that if I were you, when it comes to those visual, especially creating visual assets using AI, I would be very slow and meticulous. Like you were saying, maybe start with the images, maybe start with a Hagen avatar and just start with just your face or whose face you want to use and create the videos based on that. You get me? So like once you nail that, then you go to point 2. Okay, how can I start animating it with XYZ? And that is how you'll always ensure that is the quality you want. These are kind of my 2 cents.
Thank you.
No, my pleasure, Richard. Anything on your side to add, Jeff, there? Like maybe anything you think would be a good addition?
So, I mean, one thing that you said up top, and this is one of my phrases out there, is that AI is not going to take your job. Somebody who's using AI is going to take your job. And so right now is the time to learn how to leverage AI and leverage it well. I've been doing AI for over 20 years. And so for me, like I have a very sort of tangible and like deep understanding of it. This is not going to be absolutely easy, right? And you are going to make mistakes. There's a bit of an experimentation. If you talk to anybody on this call and like they've tried to do something with vibe coding or N8N or anything like that, it's never right the very first time. And so part of this is that investment in getting in there. And it can be frustrating at times because you're like, oh, I just spent a lot of time working on something and it didn't really work out the way I wanted. But that's part of the investment. Like if you work out or anything like that, or if you've ever learned a skill, it does take practice. But the best thing that we have right now is that like there are things like Claude and ChatGPT. You have these AI mentors that you can listen to, and they will help you through a lot of this stuff. However, as you've heard from other people on this call, you can't always just take everything that they're saying, right? You do need to challenge them. You need to push back, but you have a lot of help and you have this community. This is a great time to be learning how to leverage AI for all kinds of different things.
I love it. And as a sign off note on that, the fact that you guys are here and we are here, it just goes to show how ahead of everyone and everything we are when it comes to AI, because you're here and learning about it. And trust me, I know Jeff faces this a lot. I fail with AI and automation daily. but that is because I'm practicing it. And that is what also helps me to be one level ahead, or maybe even 100 levels ahead of many people that won't use it. So Richard, to your specific point of videos keep not coming out the way I want them to, you figured out your pain point already. Maybe I need to take a step back and start with images first and then proceed from there. Practice makes perfect. Keep at it. And if there's any way that you think we can help, DMs, calls, whatever it may be, very happy to do so.
Great.
Awesome. Very nice to meet you. Okay. So before I carry on with the list, because I'm also kind of like lost at how many new people there are, I wanted to answer Victor's question first that he asked as soon as he joined this call. It was actually even 1 minute before the call started, but he said, I want to hear your thoughts on Seedream. Now, I need to be very honest with you, Victor. I haven't had the chance to take a look at Seedream too much. Believe that it's similar to Nano Banana in the sense of it's an image generating LLM. Haven't had much time to experiment with it. I would love to hear your thoughts, Victor, if you tested it, or Jeff, even because I saw you kind of nod. Maybe you've had time to test it, but Victor, share your thoughts on it first so we can get started from there.
We heard about it like 5 hours ago when I was exercising on the elliptical machine, watching Julian Goldie's YouTubes, and he presented it as a 4K image generator, and the examples were mind blowing. So, I kind of got excited there. Then was a little disappointed. I saw it was like a Chinese AI, and I really do try my hardest to avoid Chinese stuff. But for images, I'm less concerned about that than, my business related textual stuff, sharing it with who knows who. So, so I don't have any experience yet to relate other than just seeing the examples, which were incredible.
The biggest thing is when it comes to Eastern versus Western LLMs or AI or however you want to call it, the biggest thing is whether they're open sourced or they're not. And usually Eastern ones, not only are they open source, but they're a lot more lax when it comes to their security measures or how they store data and where everything goes. So usually a lot of people are hesitant to pilot or test them. And I very much agree with the sense of if you're not 100% sure, I don't think you should be doing it. We had a very good discussion last week with Arnett, who kind of posed a lot of questions of how do you deal with security when it comes to creating these AI automation for clients? Where do you store it? Is it cloud-based? Is it, is it on a hardware somewhere? Basically, it was very good questions around that topic. I think because of the time we live in, we're also kind of too fast to give access and allow everything to any tool out there. I think in the past, we would read the fine print a lot more than we do nowadays. So I do think that in very soon times, there will be a lot more rules around it, right? We started seeing this pop up in, I think, Netherlands. I saw that they're coming up with a law regarding how much you can use AI in actual business versus personal use and stuff like this. So I think time will tell what will happen. I'm very interested to understand the wider implications of all of this. But yeah, Victor, as soon as I test dance, I'll drop the community a note. I saw Julian posted a video. Unfortunately, the man is one step ahead of me as well. Like I try to follow him, but I can't make it. But yeah.
The other thing that was interesting was this GenSpark browser that enables you to run models locally. And I was goofing around with that a little just to quickly discover that my silent video card is not going to cut it for that. So, that's really big for me. I have a silent PC. Noise bothers me a lot. So I need to find myself a big video card that will run quiet. And that's a challenge.
GenSpark's browser uses a lot of power. I honestly think unless you have a specific use case in mind why you want to pilot it, I don't see it as something crucial right now. If I'm being honest with you, Victor, I think a lot of the agent work that already exists, whether you're using ChatGPT 5's agent mode or whether you're using GenSpark or Manus or whatever it may be, I know you kind of do stay away from the Chinese specific LLMs, but in general, I think GenSpark's browser, although very powerful, you need to have a very good use case for it, if that makes sense, to kind of justify you needing to upgrade a video card for it.
Yeah, just in order to run local LLM, where I'm not going to goof around. I just need something that's plug and play, easy.
Yeah. It's basically like a Docker for you running a local LLM. I completely get you. All right, awesome. Thank you for that, Victor. As soon as I know a little bit more on Seedance, I'll definitely drop a note. Like I said to Ed, because he asked something in chat, is it possible to do a session on GenSpark? I would love to do that. I think, Ed, one of the biggest constraints I have about that is I don't have a problem with this. I need to create, for example, 5 different chat windows of different examples and kind of run you guys through them on a coaching call. But then if you guys ask me to do something on the spot, it might take anywhere from 10 minutes to 20 minutes. So I wouldn't want to just sit there in silence. So I think, Ed, what we can do is one of the Wednesday sessions, I can do fully around GenSpark, and I will prepare 5 use cases, and then we can do 2 live. As I'm presenting the old use cases, we could even see the live ones unfold. How does that sound to you?
It sounds good. Just to follow up, because you gave me some advice a couple of weeks back to say, give it a go, GenSpark.
Yeah.
So I've got all the other, most of the other major tools like ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, but I've tried GenSpark. I decided not to invest too much time in that because I think it could well get superseded with this kind of GenSpark. But there are issues with GenSpark as I see it. As you've said, it can go away, generate something, and sometimes you have to have several attempts to get close.
Yeah.
And often it's the case it solves one problem and then creates a different one. It is very powerful, and it does provide a combination of tools which you can use more productively than something like Claude or ChatGPT, but you lose control by having the power. I think that's the issue with it. But it is, I've found it useful, but hard to control, I think, would be the issue.
I agree with you. One thing that I want to share is actually last week we had a person was to build specifically a landing page with GenSpark. Unfortunately, it didn't finish during the call because the request was so late. It did finish itself. I'm not 100% satisfied with the outcome, but I'm just going to share it for you guys so that you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. So this is right here. Basically, what we said was build me a sales funnel page for my low ticket digital product, a bump order, thank you page, upsell 1, upsell 2, and check out via Stripe, right? And it actually did create a web page, which we're going to see here shortly. And it even gave us a deployable link that we can share it with. And it kind of gave us the explanation of why it did what it did. Now, I'm going to show you that versus 2 other use cases I've built with GenSpark and how better they look. Again, this is me hoping you guys can yes, you can see my screen. So this is what it built for what exactly we asked there, which was a sales funnel page, right? And it kind of gave us success. What you'll get inside, right? Limited time special offer. So this is the upsell 1 opportunity, right? With a timer and get instant access, and then PayPal, Stripe, and of course, SSL secure. Now, I think it didn't deliver on the second upsell, right? I don't necessarily think it delivered also on the bump order thing, because I thought that the order, basically the limited pie thing was going to follow me around, but of course it's too short to do that. So I think, Ed, I kind of see what you're saying, right? It didn't 100% deliver. However, if I show you the other 2 things that I've shown before, which are solely built with GenSpark, which are fully clickable and take you to a bunch of places where you can toggle stuff, where you can even observe metrics. I think, like, for example, this is the beauty of GenSpark. This was fully done with GenSpark. And here, for example, I can ask it to please create a funnel for a branding company. Whatever. It's going to understand. So look, it instantly generated the welcome template, the client guide outline, the checklist, right? So GenSpark is capable of creating insanely powerful things. It's just like you were saying there, Ed, it's all about fine tuning. And I'm not even going to go into like the second one, but it's pretty much very similar, right? With very similar kind of statistics that it can give you. And this is why I love it. It does take a little bit of back and forth, but I really
Just to reinforce what you're saying for benefit, I created a couple of strategy documents for a large organization. And the person I provided to has had years like myself in consultancy. He said, I'm glad I've retired now. This would literally be what would have taken days to produce in quarter of an hour, if not less.
I honestly think a lot of people don't even fully clock it, how much you can do right now with AI. And what I just showed there is just a glimpse of if someone is more creative or has a different kind of visualization of what you can do with this, it's incredibly powerful. And I kind of even saw that Virgil already asked a question about GenSpark that I'm going to tie into. But Ed, I'm going to do a full GenSpark kind of course because I think a lot of people need to see more value from it and how they can use it for different use cases.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome. Virgil, one sec before I go to you. For Arnett and Victor, Arnett is really invested into trying to understand, and he really is curious about security when it comes to LLM. So I think this is where his questions are coming from because he wants to be as educated as possible, but he's even asked me to ask Julian, Jimmy, and Jeff to do like a co-host where we can talk about security. But I think it's such a difficult topic to talk about, just like you said, discussion for a different day. I love that you share so much information to keep us informed, and please keep on doing so. It's very good to be informed, regardless of what opinion you subscribe to or what you kind of believe in. Information is always good. Now, Virgil, on to yours. Hi, Vic. Hi, everyone. I'm interested in how you create an idea through GenSpark and turn it into an MVP. I think I kind of just showed you there a glimpse of what I had in mind, but I would love to hear a little bit more from your side. What are you thinking about, and how would you like me to help you with this? How do you want me to present it for you?
You're talking about GenSpark, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I run a SaaS here in Hawaii and a digital marketing agency.
Nice.
And one of the things that we're having issues with is merging all of our tools together.
Okay.
And, Zapier's not cutting it. And we've been looking at NAN. It's kind of it does have a learning curve.
Okay.
But if we can connect all of the APIs together and make it work, I think we have something there,
Yeah.
And I've been looking around for a tool that can do that easily. I've been just using Claude, which is kind of helpful, but it seems like it's repetitive. And with Claude, all my team uses it. So every day I'm running out of tokens. And when you mentioned that you can put together an entire SaaS through GenSpark, it kind of like popped my mind like, oh yeah, I want to do that. I want to turn a SaaS idea, which basically is something where you just merge a bunch of small tools together with APIs and get it to work in sequence or into a system, and voila, you have a working SaaS that you could sell. It's a system basically, right?
Yeah, it's software as a service. It's literally what it is. So I want to show you something, Virgil. Maybe this will help spark more ideas for you or kind of answer your question. One thing I need to be very clear on is you cannot just create a full-on business by dropping a prompt in AI. But what you create when I say this MVP is a minimum viable product, right? If you can come up with a minimum viable product that solves a certain problem or a pain point, and then you can take that to market and understand, hey, is there a need for this? You can run a survey wherever your target audience would exist, whether that is, again, something like a forum-based place like Reddit or Quora, or specifically for plumbers or whatever it may be, right? You go there and you validate your product. If you understand that there are applicable kind of like use cases for what you've created, that is when you develop this connection. Now, it isn't as easy as, okay, I'm going to drop this line into GenSpark and boom, I got my business. But it's a lot on the side of, I have an idea that solves a huge pain point. Will I be able to create this? And I'm going to show you exactly how that looks from a fresh creation, right? So this is what I use. It's a very easy prompt. I do go a little bit into detail of what I want it to contain, right? So I said, create a sleek and modern SaaS for a client onboarding automation platform designed for freelancers and agencies. So it's very key for you to mention your target audience, very key for you to mention the use case or what the pain point is, right? You're solving the pain point of onboarding for freelancers and agencies because they probably have the most gaps, let's say. You mention exactly what you want it to include, right? So you kind of go step by step and you give all of this information that exists here. So you can take a screenshot or you can watch the recording to go back to it. From here, I think it took it about 5 minutes and it created, again, this is not going to be the perfect one. So it's not going to be like this one, right? This one looks a lot better. But what I want to show you is, so the first thing is created is this. And I'm going to deploy it in front of you guys so you can see exactly what it looks like on a website, right? Okay, this is made by GenSpark. That's fine. This is just for us testing purposes, right? So it's telling me my onboarding processes. It's telling me my clients, it's letting me add a new client, which is pretty good. So that means it already works. It has modification parts for a client, right? Timeline builder, AI assistant, integrations, for example, a couple of the things you want to be integrated or not. Like you were saying, the different tools that you want to add to this sauce, right? And this is what I mean by you can create an MVP. So you use the problem you want to solve with a prompt, and you create the dashboard that is going to be your beginning point, and you validate that. Does this make a little bit more sense, Virgil?
Yes. Yes.
Awesome. What I'm going to do here is I'm actually just going to drop that prompt in chat just in case someone wants to pivot to a different type of use case. I'm just going to drop it in here so you guys can at least have it in front of you, or copy paste it and maybe create something else from it. But to me, this is how I go about and try to understand when I create this and I show it to 3 people. For example, we are an SEO company, right? I show to 3 different people SEO space I've created, for example, automating backlinks, which isn't doable yet. But let's say I do that. If I hear from all 3 of those business owners, like, holy smokes, how much is this? That just means that I need to create it and figure out the price point for it. Because if their first question is, how much does this cost? There is a pain that needs to be solved, right? So that's how I'd go about it, Virgil.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to look at this and try to replicate it and make it my own.
There you go. I love that. I think I said 15 minutes ago, like, it's not about coming up with something new. It's about creating something that already exists and making it better. Awesome. Very nice to meet you, Virgil. We have 3 minutes, team. So in these 3 minutes, if you have a question, raise your hand or drop a note in chat. This has been a great session though, Jeff. What do you think?
This has been awesome. Yeah. I didn't realize this is what you were doing on Mondays. I think this is really cool. I've been trying to incorporate this, getting people to talk about, what they're working on. When I see how you got it like focused like this. So I think this is really useful to get people to kind of give us their feedback. Like, what are people trying to solve? What are the issues that people are running into? Because this is, so I've told people, this is the new frontier on AI.
Yeah.
It used to be about building models. Now it's like, how do we integrate it into our workflows?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. I think one of the key components of these type of sessions is we come out here and we talk, and maybe I didn't get to, for example, John Davis, or I didn't get to David P. Kennedy today. But one of the things we try to do is we solve problems that we hear. And from there, we might solve a bystander's problem. Or what might happen is someone might figure out a solution because of a problem we said or solved here. And they might be like, boom, I know what I'm going to build. I know what business is going to be. I know how I can make it big now because this is my calling. I love these calls. It's such a different pace, right? And I always want to hear from every single member. I want to make sure that every single member feels heard, and I try to give back as much as possible, but we are very limited with time. But that's what we're doing 5 times a week, right? But there's a lot of opportunity for everyone. But yeah, it's been amazing, honestly, because I don't see any hands raised. I don't see any questions in chat outside of Arnett dropping a quick note. Team, I'm going to send you a thank you. I'm going to say it's been amazing. Tomorrow, it will be Jeff's session. It's going to be a special, right? Do you want to share with the people? Do you want to spoil to the people what's going to happen? Or
I've been spoiling it in the calls all last week. We're going to be working on an MCP. If you're not familiar with MCP, it's the big AI term right now. I want to try to demystify it a little bit. I think there's a lot of confusion on like what an MCP does. And we're going to work on an MCP that will work on N8N for you. So like this is just going to, And so if you're looking for something, I will tell you though, from working with MCPs, they're not absolutely perfect yet, but they can definitely help you work on some of your N8N workflows.
There you go, guys. You heard Jeff. Amazing. Tomorrow, we're going to have an MCP session, especially to help you with N8N. It's been lovely. Thank you for your time. This footage will be uploaded within the hour to our school community. So feel free to take a look and if anything is needed. It's been a pleasure, team. I wish you all the best. Catch you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.